emeritus Benedict is asking for forgiveness. Last month, a church-commissioned report into abuse by Catholic clergy criticized Benedict's handling of cases involving pedophile priests in the 1980s while he was the Archbishop of Munich. The former leader of the church expressed his profound shame and deep sorrow while continuing to maintain his own innocence. Joining us now is Katie McGrady, who is a host on the Catholic channel on SiriusXM, and she's the author of the book called Lent, One Day at a Time for Catholic Teens, especially relevant here shortly. Okay, so Katie, I want to ask you, I think, the question that it's kind of an apology, but he doesn't actually admit wrongdoing. So how do you make sense of this? He's not admitting any responsibility.
Yeah, it's, as a Catholic, anytime you hear news of sexual abuse, like this Munich report that came out, it reminded me of the Pennsylvania grand jury report from not long ago. And there's this immediate sadness and this immediate, oh my gosh, like who's responsible, and shed light on everything because we need to bring it into the light. Transparency is necessary. I would make note, though, it's interesting, while Benedict didn't necessarily lay out, I knew this, I knew that, I did this, I did that, he did say he is sorry, and he did say, I am holding within me this grievous fault. So it's not a particular, this is what I did, or this is what I knew, but it is in the twilight years of my life, I'm recognizing mistakes were made, and I'm sorry, and I'll be judged for that. So as a Catholic who has long admired Pope Benedict XVI, I mean, I studied theology while he was Pope and loved his writings and still very much admire him. I read this in kind of this is awful, and yet at the same time, he didn't have to say anything, and I'm grateful he's asking forgiveness.
So the question is asking forgiveness for what? It is part of asking forgiveness and repenting. Is it acknowledging specifically what you were asking forgiveness for? Brianna and I cover politics, right? Yeah. And so we hear a lot of apologies. I apologize if you took offense. Yeah. Or I apologize that this happened. Not I apologize for what I did, or I apologize that I ... And there is a difference there, right?
There is. I mean, you're describing confession. You're describing what we do when we walk into a confessional and we say, this is what I did, number, kind, and reason. And that's a hard thing to grapple with. As a Catholic, I want somebody to be held accountable. I also recognize that I'm not necessarily the one to be the one who holds him accountable. I'm a Catholic who admires, I'm a Catholic who looks up, I'm a Catholic who trusts, but I also recognize that's the job of God. And there's a lot of difficulty in that. Forgiveness is something very easy to talk about and then very difficult to give and then very difficult to receive. And it's definitely one of these, again, I feel like I always come on here and tell you guys it's nuanced, but I feel it's one of those things that as Catholics, we have to really grapple with. We have to take to prayer. We have to recognize none of us are really beyond a need to ask for forgiveness, including the Pope. And I would note as well, the Munich report that outlines what happened and the claims that are made, Pope Benedict knew in 4 specific instances, and really at dispute is this one particular meeting. Was he at this meeting? Were things discussed at this meeting that would have moved a priest around who then abused again later on? And Pope Benedict's people did issue 3 documents that verified their versions of events. So there was some particulars beyond just this letter that everybody's reading. There was this is what he did know. The letter is more the reflections of this 94-year-old man in retirement saying, I'm sorry. And I think that's important to note as well.
I know we can't ignore some of the shift that he made himself on holding priests accountable, but I will say forgiveness is difficult. It's harder without atonement. And I think that for some of the victims, they may feel that way looking at this.
Absolutely. Oh, I agree 100%.
Yeah. Katie, really appreciate you being with us again.
Thanks so much.
Coming up, CNN is on the front lines.